Alright, what's up guys, it's Heat. I wanted to make a video today on some useful vendor recipes that you can use in Path of Exile to increase currency. So, alright, here we go. Some of the basic ones that are very good is you take one rare piece of, I guess, gear for every slot, and you sell it to the vendor. And that'll give you one chaos back, so that's a one chaos vendor recipe. So let me just show you.
Can I help?
Alright, so you get one piece for every slot. I usually use a two-handed weapon. If you don't have a two-handed weapon, you can use two one-hander weapons, but it's easier for a two-handed weapon since you don't have to get two of the same. So we just trade everything in. And you get one chaos back. There are different versions of that recipe, the chaos recipe, that are better. So for example, another one is you do the same thing, but you trade in all the items with 20% quality on them. So these boots have 20%, this two-handed weapon has 20%, the chest, etc., etc. So when you trade a whole set in that has 20%,
Can I help?
what you're going to get back is 2 chaos instead of 1. Now what I usually do is, if you're like farming or doing runs, I actually don't quality them from like 0. So what I'll do is I'll save a piece that rolls really high or really close to 20%. So like this armor, when I picked it up, it was 17%. And this helm was 15%, and I think this one was like 18 or something like that. So you don't have to waste scraps on them. So yeah, be on the lookout for already qualitied items, and I just save those until I get a whole set and then trade them all in. Alright, so there's one more version of that. There's actually 2 more versions that I won't be able to show you, but I will talk about. So another version of that is if you trade in unID'd items. So I guess when you do that, you run the risk of actually not, you might roll like a godly item or whatnot, but I don't know, I think the probability of that happening is very low. So what I tend to do is I tend to pick items that aren't very popular in the league. So for example, right now, and I think for the existence of Path of Exile, staffs have never really been popular. Most people don't do staff builds. So what happens here is I just I'll choose this as the weapon that I don't ID, and then other things like gloves, ES gloves tend not to roll. Like you have to, the probability of you rolling a godly ES glove is like very low. So I'll choose that one. Same with cloth belts. Most people don't seek out cloth belts. I'll save that. Coral amulets can roll well as any amulet does, but most people don't want that implicit. They want an amulet with a better implicit than just that low life regen, which is like negligible at higher levels. So basically, you want to look for items that aren't popular and not ID them. You take a risk, but I think it's well worth it. You get 2 chaos back. I would almost be able to show you, but I don't have another unID'd ring. Now, there's one last version of that where you do the same thing, non-ID'd items, but with max quality. And if you do that, you get 3 chaos back. That one's a little bit harder to do because you don't find a lot of high quality items. But when I do, I save them. So as you can see, this one rolled 20. I was lucky. This thing rolled 18, so I saved them. Now, here's another one that's fairly useful. If you get, for example, if you get implicit strength or implicit whatever jade, dex amulet, or anything else like the intelligence one, what you can do is you can vendor them with one transmute, and it'll give you back the combination of that amulet. So let me show you. You take these two, you trade them in, and you get a Citron amulet. Now this is pretty good because you get a free roll on an amulet that's fairly better, or that's probably better than just having a pure dex amulet. And if they're trash already, you might get a good amulet. So let's see. Trade it in. Was it good? That's fairly good, right? 25% fire damage, 73 life, armor. That'll probably sell for a little bit. So I will save that. But if not, you can toss it back in. And bam, another item for the Chaos Vendor recipe. Alright, so here's another recipe that's pretty good. If you trade in, I think it's like 50% quality total, or 40%, something like that, for gems, you get back 1 GCP like that. That is an awesome vendor recipe to use. It's very useful, especially when you can't sell low quality gems. Might as well do this vendor recipe to get something out of it. Alright, another one that I find is very useful that people actually don't use a lot is, for example, if there's one piece of gear that I want for the build that I am doing, for example, I was doing a crit trap build that used daggers. So what I do is I pick one item, maybe two the most, and I save all the items that I get, all the trash rares that I get. And what I do is I use them in a vendor recipe that's where you trade 5 in and you get 1 unID back. So let me show you. That's 5 daggers. You go to the vendor, sell them all. And they weren't the same, apparently. They weren't the same. I had a Fiend dagger in there. My bad on that one. So they have to be all the base type. See, that one was a Fiend dagger, but these are all Demon daggers. So you trade in 5 Demon daggers, you get 1 unID'd back. Might be good. It might not be good. That is not that good. So you throw it back in and you start the process again. And usually I mean, you can do it with every item, but it gets kind of cumbersome, so I only choose one item that's like pretty important for your build. Or if you're looking for an upgrade, like you already got that important item and then you're looking for an upgrade like boots, I'll start saving those base type of boots and start rolling them, start vendoring them. So one more time, get something back. Let's see. Not very good. So just toss it back and then you can keep going at it. Yeah, so another one with Flask, this is pretty good because right now a lot of glass blowers bubbles are not dropping often and they're kind of high value. Like I didn't even have most of all of my pots max quality because it's harder to get, and I think it's something like 50% quality, but I just like grab as many as I can.
What little help I can offer is yours.
Start selling them to the vendor, and eventually there goes a glass blower's bauble. That's pretty good to get your granite flask up, or whatever flask you want, to max quality. That's a very good one. Alright, so those are some of the vendor recipes that I think are good. If you guys have any questions, just let me know. Alright, thanks.